What's up, you guys? Welcome to this week's One Piece review, and in this video, we're going to be talking about chapters 871 and 872. So, for starters, we find out that Stussy is a Cypherpole Aegis Zero agent, and that further reinforces the idea that the world government peeps everything that's happening in the One Piece universe. From the moment they were on Dressrosa watching Doflamingo, to the moment they were on the Grand Tessero watching Guild Tessero, and actively interfering, to the moment that Stussy, one of the Underworld's emperors and most influential, gets invited to a wedding ceremony by the Yonko Big Mom. Now, you can't sneeze the wrong way without a Cypherpole Zero agent being up your ass. And what makes it worse is that they're stronger than CP9, and it's been stated that wherever Cypherpole Aegis Zero is, shit hits the fan. And that has been proven to be true in the New World post-time skip, because whenever shit has hit the fan, they were more than likely there. Now, going back to the chapter, Luffy goes gear forth and tries to attack Big Mom, and she casually clashes her punch with Luffy's punch. And mind you, this is the same gear forth that beat Doflamingo shitless, and Doflamingo is my favorite character, and I've watched the fight between him and gear forth Luffy several times. I've tried to bend the truth in my mind in some way to believe that he gave as good as he got. And trust me, I've watched it several times. He just didn't. He just didn't manage to injure Luffy in gear forth form at all. He didn't manage to give as good as he got. Did he put up a fight? Yes. Was he holding his own? No. It was pretty much just a stalling game at that point. But it's frightening that Big Mom is just able to casually clash blows with Luffy in gear forth. And this is just like we saw with Kaido in the opening in One Piece, where he casually matched blows with Luffy. But also, she scoffs at Luffy's plan to take down Kaido, saying, "You'll never be able to take down that thing." Now, this is the third time that we've heard Kaido be mentioned as inhuman. He's been called the King of Beasts. He's been called the strongest creature in the land, the sky, the air, the sea, and stuff like that. And now he's mentioned as a thing by Big Mom. Now, I don't know if he's just so abnormally strong that people refuse to acknowledge that he's human, like in some animes where a character is just abnormally strong and people call them a monster or inhuman. Or maybe he has a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit in which that's the basis of his epithet, like several other characters in the One Piece universe where their epithets or titles are based off of their Devil Fruits. But after that, Judge finally manages to gain some balls and acquire some honor and try to intercept Big Mom in order to actually give Sanji, Luffy, and the rest of them some time to escape. But Big Mom, being Yonko as she is, swats him down, and her crew managed to subdue the Vinsmokes, Luffy, Sanji, and Beige Capone, and Caesar. Now, the thing is about Big Mom and her crew is they're not weak by any stretch of the imagination, but it's like I've been saying in the past several videos. The only reason they've had such issue with the Vinsmokes and Straw Hats and the Fire Tank Pirates is because they were arrogant. They were incompetent. If Charlotte Opera just admitted to Big Mom and the rest of his siblings that he didn't kill Luffy and that they escaped, a lot of these problems would have been avoided. If Bobbin wasn't so arrogant to think that he could handle the problem on his own, and if he didn't get bodied by the Fire Tank Pirates, Sanji wouldn't have saw Pudding torturing Reiju. He wouldn't have heard the assassination plot against the Vinsmokes. Therefore, he wouldn't have been able to stop it. He wouldn't have been able to prevent it because he wouldn't have even knew it was happening. He would have still thought that Pudding was a good, nice-natured girl and got shot through the skull. And also, the thing is, Big Mom heavily underestimated Luffy. The fact that Luffy managed to defeat a sweet commander in itself should have warranted them going all out against Luffy from the get-go. The fact is that she withheld one of her sweet commanders and let her enraged army deal with Luffy was, in my opinion, underestimating him. Yes, Luffy did manage to defeat Cracker. And yes, Luffy was heavily exhausted afterwards. But what if he wasn't? What if he wasn't? I mean, none of those people in the enraged army, in my opinion, are strong enough to go up against a Gear 4 Luffy. Gear 4th Luffy is equal to one of her sweet commanders. That's what I'm going to say. He can go toe-to-toe with one of her sweet commanders and probably lose, but he would have gave him a run for their money. But she just sent her enraged army without two of her sweet commanders to apprehend Luffy. If he wasn't exhausted, I believe he would have just went straight through them. And that would have been Big Mom's fault. Also, one of Big Mom's greatest weaknesses at this point is that she just believes herself to be untouchable. The fact is, Big Mom, she can find out who your brother, your sister, your mother, your best friends are and have them killed and have their body parts or heads sent to you if you don't come to her party or wedding or tea party or stuff like that. But you're trying to tell me you can do background checks like that for people you're inviting, but you couldn't do a background check on Beige Capone and find out that this guy has a penchant. He has a hobby of taking out the heads of pirate crews and families and organizations and then just hauling ass. You can know where everybody's family members are located at and then send their body parts to other people, but you couldn't tell whether this member of the worst generation was bad news for your crew. Hell, some of your family members and crew members didn't even trust Beige Capone from the get-go. Yet you are entrusting him with the title of Rook to be the security of your event? This is stupidity. This is stupidity even for a Yonko. They set themselves up at this point. They set themselves up. And if it wasn't for the saving grace of Dufeld's greed and the fact that he tried to take the Tamate Bako for himself and then got killed by Stussy, and he managed to tip over the box and it destroyed part of the whole Cake Chateau, Luffy and his crew and Beige Capone would have been done for. That would have been the end of One Piece, and we would have had to look at another member of the Worst Generation's story from that point forward. But at that point, we move into chapter 872. Whole Cake Chateau is collapsing. This thing is falling because of that Tamate Bako box that was meant for Big Mom, which makes me wonder, with an explosion that powerful, would have even hurt Big Mom in the slightest if she opened it herself at point blank range, not expecting anything. That's what I really wonder. But at that point, Beige Capone was thinking, okay, Whole Cake Chateau is collapsing. This means not only is Big Mom's crew going to be wiped out, but Big Mom's going to be wiped out. This is going to be the end of her and her crew. This is going to be the end of them. I didn't even have to go through the assassination plan. And I'm just like, I really don't think that's the case. I mean, you guys kind of made that same assumption when you was firing the launchers at her. You was assuming that it would be strong enough to pierce her skin. You were assuming she would be weakened enough for you to actually fire off the rounds. But it turns out while she was screaming and while she was releasing Conqueror's Haki, she ended up destroying the launchers and the ammunition that was supposed to pierce her skin. Besides, we've seen Kaido falling from much greater heights and ending up unscathed. Now, granted, Kaido is like this unkillable beast, and he has a hobby and penchant for trying to kill himself. But Big Mom has been said to be just as durable, so I doubt a fall from that height would have killed her. Pissed her off, yes. Maybe gave her a scratch or two, maybe. But killed her, no. No, I really don't think that. It would have probably wiped out some of her crew. And that just further goes into the whole point of it. Her and her crew were incompetent. They underestimated the Straw Hats. They didn't even bother to do a background check on Beige Capone. They set themselves up for this type of situation, and they didn't make sure they had, I don't know, I guess they had the Vinsmokes in the best position they could have. If it wasn't for Sanji intercepting the whole assassination plot, the Vinsmokes would have been dead, and if I was Big Mom, I would have let Luffy and Beige Capone go. Because I got the technology I need. Now with the Germans' technology, I can just take over One Piece universe. I really don't need to kill you guys right here and now. I'll just hunt you down later. But that plan got screwed to shit too. And if it wasn't for Streusen, you know, Big Mom's chef, turning the Whole Cake Chateau into actual cake and whipped cream, there would have been a lot of bodies on Big Mom's side. There would have been a lot of casualties that Big Mom would have been responsible for. And it wouldn't have made any sense. Big Mom was put in danger needlessly several times where her sweet commanders could have did something but didn't. And Cracker should be back in the picture by now. We've had Luffy fight several times continuously, had the shit beaten out of him continuously, and somehow Cracker is still indisposed. We've had Reiju be tortured and shot, and all these other things happen to several other characters being knocked out in this whole arc, and Cracker's still not in the picture. If Cracker is not in the picture soon, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed if he's not in the picture, because he seems to be the only sweet commander besides Dogtooth, and we really haven't seen Dogtooth go one-on-one with anybody. He's just been pretty much playing goalkeeper at this point. He's been kind of protecting Big Mom and kind of, it's like playing Call of Duty. You know, most of the other players are just trying to kill other people, and then you have that one genuine player that's trying to follow the objective, and that's Dogtooth. He doesn't really care about knocking anybody out. He's just trying to intercept them and prevent them from escaping or protect Big Mom, the other objective. Everybody else is just like, I'm going to kill the Straw Hats. He's just like, I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to do what the objective is. And Cracker's like the only other person that says, fuck it, I'm going to do what I need to do. He's the only other person that has so far taken on Luffy, gave him run for his money, almost beat him, and followed the objective like Dogtooth. Now, we haven't seen Smoothie in action, which is still the most infuriating thing for me. She's a sweet commander, for Pete's sake. Big Mom would have almost died. Luffy and them almost escaped several different times, and we still haven't seen them actually do anything. We still haven't seen Smoothie actually do anything. But then at the end of 872, I will give Smoothie some credit. Her and the rest of Big Mom's crew and family are trying to assemble into two groups to take down Luffy and Beige Capone, who at this point have parted ways and are trying to get back to their ships to get the fuck out of Dodge. And Big Mom is just throwing a hungry fit, and I have a dark feeling that she's going to kill some of her crew members. I do think that that's what's going to happen, because there's no way that they can give Big Mom what she wants. She wants that wedding cake, and they spent so much time assembling those ingredients and making that cake, and it's destroyed, and now she wants it. And you know what happened to Moscato when he tried to do something about it, so I don't know. I think they're going to have to deal with Big Mom before they even deal with Luffy and Beige. And I'm just pissed. I'm pissed because this is the first in-depth Yonko interaction we have. You know, this is the first time that we see a Yonko in their territory with their crew and their commanders, and, you know, them actually doing their thing. And Big Mom is just this careless, and her crew is just this incompetent when it comes to Luffy and Beige Capone. If it was anybody else, they would have been crushed on the spot. Believe me, they would have been crushed. There wouldn't have been this type of incompetence. And at this point, it's just plot-induced stupidity. That's the only thing I believe it could be. Plot-induced stupidity to save Luffy and Beige Capone. But I feel like with them escaping, Beige Capone has to go down. There has to be, at the end of this arc, a sacrificial lamb. Somebody has to go down to show that the Yonko are not fucking around. That you just can't go into Yonko's territory and do whatever the fuck you want and then leave. There has to be repercussions and consequences. I mean, this is the new world. This is where you can get killed if you even breathe the wrong way. So I would like to see Beige Capone actually get killed. I'd like to see him get killed, or someone else of the Straw Hats team get killed by Big Mom and her crew. But this is VM. Like, comment, share, subscribe. What are your predictions for the next few chapters? Bye.